My name's Donnie Tudall. I'm the owner of Beast Athletes, CEO of Beast Athletes University. I want to tell you guys kind of my story, what makes me me, where it all started, where I'm at today. Right now I'm 28, sitting in my gym right now in Kalispell, Montana. Never thought I'd have an opportunity to do something like this. We take the sport of powerlifting in the state of Montana, and it was very, very non-existent, and we've kind of blown it up. Put out a lot of really, really solid lifters, some world champs, world, national, state record holders, and just absolutely changed the lives of a ton of people in the community. And none of this would have been really possible without, everything that led up to it and all the things, all the trials and tribulations and successes as well that have kind of made the journey. So that's kind of what I wanted to talk to you guys about today. Started playing football in like 4th or 5th grade. I was late. I was very unathletic, kind of fat, soft, immature kid growing up. Just moved from California to Montana, and that was a culture shock, and it wasn't very accepted. So I got picked on a lot. Donald Duck got thrown around like no one's business, and just took a lot to get through that transition, not having friends, and then getting a little bit more comfortable, and then finally decided, it's time to give football a shot. And I walked into it, and it was a blast. I started playing on a team with guys who were still in the league right now, and we destroyed everybody. It was so much fun. That was like 10 years old. And as I grew, kind of started to get a little bit more mature, started to get a little bit more athletic, a little less puppy fat, baby fat, whatever term you want to use, and started to develop into a pretty formidable athlete, and just kind of was able to grow as a person, grow as an athlete, and kind of gain the respect of people around me by just being able to do things that I didn't think I was able to do. And, got into high school, and luckily I'd started training in the weight room when I was about 12 years old. My coach, Saia Misa, he was a huge deal in college football coming up, played with the Seahawks for a little bit, ended up not being able to play anymore after an injury, but he drugged me in, got me in the weight room. My dad put me in there with him, and he kind of started this entire ball rolling in the fitness industry for me. So I was able to train with him for a couple of years, did everything I could to kind of develop a good foundation of athleticism from the weight room. Wasn't overly athletic or anything like that, but once I got to high school, it was pretty apparent very quickly that there weren't going to be a lot of people who were going to be able to, go toe-to-toe with me physically. And that gave me a lot of confidence to kind of continue to take the next step and grow and be more confident. And that allowed me, to ultimately get invited to come to several different colleges for different sports, and completely attribute all that to the training that I spent, all the time that I spent training with Saia, and that work ethic, that strength that he instilled from day one. And ended up deciding to commit to Montana State to play football and do track. And that was a huge decision in my life, growing up an avid Grizzly fan, avid cat hater. It was something that point blank lost me some very close friends in my family, and I got shunned for it. It was crazy, but the biggest thing to me was I created an opportunity that I was told I would never have. Growing up, you're not going to do much. You're a little fat kid. All the kids telling you that, and then, I was like, no, that's not what it's going to be. I'm going to work hard, and got the opportunity to play football. Got the opportunity to start for multiple years in multiple sports, and every time somebody told me, no, you won't do this, you can't do this, I basically gave them the middle finger, and I went and did it. And no, you won't play in college. Played multiple sports in college. No, you won't be able to do this. Went and did that. So decided to take the opportunity to go to Montana State, do football and track there. You will never be scholarship, you will never play. Earned my scholarship, earned my throwing when I was there. all that stuff, and just continued to earn the things that they wouldn't. You won't amount to anything in the weight room, set their school records in the weight room for the football team. You won't get signed, you won't get looked at, okay? Just kept working diligently, and ended up earning my scholarship. After a couple years, I had to start for a full season before I earned my scholarship, and that's kind of how it goes sometimes. It was one of the most difficult challenges that I've faced up to that point, but it was one of the biggest rewards, and it was a completely unrealistic goal when I started. There was no chance that I would ever earn a scholarship to play Division I football or do, Division I track when I started. And people told me point blank, you won't do it. It's not possible. You can't do this. And, set that unrealistic goal and achieved it time after time, and just all the little goals that built up to that. It was a really cool feeling finally, earning that scholarship, earning that championship ring, and then another championship ring, and then another championship ring. You guys won't beat Montana. You guys won't beat Eastern Washington. You guys won't do this, you won't do that. And we just continue to plug away. We worked our asses off every day. I worked my ass off every day to become the best player that I possibly could. And when the time came and we rose to the top, that was a huge deal for everybody involved with that. Just continually just achieving another goal, unrealistic or realistic. Every time that we did it and they said we couldn't, it was just another, notch on our belt, showing what we were capable of. Obviously, if you haven't figured out by now, my entire background is football. Grew up playing football. Everything in the weight room was to get better at football or basketball or track, but football was the main piece, and knew that from day one. Football comes to an end though. Luckily, that end, I was able to transition into something I love, but that end started one summer. I was working down at a local bar in Big Fork, the Garden Bar, and I got jumped by a handful of guys, and I was bouncing. Not a great job, but it is what it is. It was fun at the time. And I defended myself. I ended up going to jail for it. Ended up having to transfer out of Montana State. Ended up losing my position there. And it was a horrible, horrible situation to be in. And it was one of those things where people were like, "Oh, you're not gonna recover from this. You're not gonna be able to play football. You lost your opportunity." And the opportunity sorted itself out. It was one of those things where I was at work and I was in the right. So the staff didn't see it that way. I ended up transferring down to a school in New Mexico, dropped down a division because I wanted to play football still, and I still wanted to work, and I still wanted to go towards the NFL. So I went to New Mexico Highlands, which is where every one of my friends that had played at the highest level possible, and they fell back. This is where we all went together. Ended up having a really good coach there that helped me develop as a fullback and a long snapper. We struggled that season, but I grew substantially as an athlete, and became more wise as not only an athlete and a football player, but just a human being about what it takes to do things. And one of the things that people don't understand is, everyone grows up and they say, "Oh, I want to make it to the NFL. I want to be a professional, this, that, or the other thing," and they've never done it. They have no idea what it takes, and neither did I. What you quickly discover is, in order to do something that you have never done, to achieve something that you've never achieved, you have to be willing to do things that you can't even imagine. You have to work harder than you even knew was possible, and not in like, you can work through anything. But when, chips are down and you are completely back against the wall, you have to double down and just re-buy in and, do things that you didn't even know you were capable of as a human being, as an athlete, psychologically, emotionally, spiritually, and physically. You just had to 100% buy in, go to work, no matter what it was. That's what you were going to do, and that was the goal. That's what you were going to achieve. And that opportunity in New Mexico really opened my eyes to that, and I made that commitment at that point. I recommitted to it. I'm going to make it to the NFL. I'm going to be, somebody that my hometown can be proud of. I'm going to be someone that my home state can be proud of, and that when we turn on the TV, on Mondays and Thursdays and Sundays that I'll be out there doing my job. So after I finished my college career in New Mexico, I moved down to Los Angeles with my little brother, started training at Gold's Gym Venice, and I started down the path of free agency. And it's not an easy path, not at all. I had my pro day, and I got invited to the Super Regional Combine in Detroit. And as a long snapper, I set every record possible. I hit 37 reps on the bench press. I ran a 4.7 laser, which is, a 265. That's smoking fast. That's very, very fast. Jumped 10.5 feet in the broad jump, 36.5 inches in my vertical. All my testing was just off the charts. There was only one person who out-snapped me at the combine. He's still snapping for the Seahawks. It was really cool to be in that setting and in that group of guys and that caliber of human being and athlete, because those guys are still there, and went toe-to-toe with them. Ended up coming back from the Super Regional Combine, doing my pro day in Bozeman. Had another good showing. Had the Raiders, had the Vikings, had the Rams all on the phone with my agent, conversations afterwards, and it was a really successful day. But one thing led to another. Didn't get signed that year as a snapper, which was okay. Ended up recycling, which means kind of starting the whole process over for the next year. And that's where powerlifting really started to enter the scene. There was a little bit of a hesitation and a little bit of a, what am I going to do if football ends? Because my entire life I've been a football player. I'm 28 years old right now, and I haven't played football since I was 22, 23. I'm still a football player. It's ingrained in my DNA, it's in my mind, it's in my heart, it's in everything that I do. That will never go away. And I had to start coming to terms with that reality that it might actually go away, that opportunity to play the sport that I love might actually not be there anymore. So started to kind of dabble with different things, and I found this awesome dude when I was down in, I trained at Gold's Gym in Venice for like 3 years. One day there was this guy in here, and he was the only guy in the gym that was stronger than me. I walked up to him, I was like, I want to lift with you. I love what you do. You're strong, you train hard, you squat, you bench, you deadlift. I don't know how to deadlift, but I can squat and bench. Teach me, what's up? Let's train together. His name was Emilio Paez. He just totally drugged me in, got me hooked, and hook, line, and sinker type of thing. As soon as he was like, all right, I bought in, went to a couple workouts, I was immediately just absolutely addicted to it. So started training out of Gold's Gym Venice there. Still going to all my free agency stuff, still making trips to Phoenix and wherever it was to work out for every single team in the NFL and the CFL. But that pendulum started swinging from, I'm trying to make it in the NFL to I'm trying to make it in the NFL, but I really like powerlifting. I might like powerlifting as much as I like playing football. Well, I kind of forgot about football, kind of not. And that's about when I got my opportunity to take a couple more camps and really get in front of the best guys available. So I went down and worked with Coach Donner and worked with Coles out of Phoenix, and absolutely killed it. Went in, had great days. When I went to Zonners, I was the best snapper there. Outperformed every single person there, physically and as a snapper. So my skill and my physical were it was phenomenal. Everything was there, primed, ready to get signed. And then find out grandma has cancer. And then that was right after, probably 2-3 weeks after my uncle died. And all these things kind of started to pile up. All these things, had a pretty aggressive, I don't know if aggressive is the correct word, but a pretty horrific miscarriage. And it was just like, wow, like shot after shot after shot. I was building up and everything was great and everything was going really good and I was working my ass off. These unrealistic goals are realistic goals. They started out a dream and they're sitting right there, and then you lose a child. You lose your girl. Over that, you lose, the reality that you're one of the most influential female figures in your life. There's a timer there. Uncle dies. another person dies, another person dies. You know, your mom's starting to get sick. It's like, wow. You get a phone call and telling you like all your dreams just came true. Like, hey, we're gonna pick you up, and hang up the phone. And it's like, wow, I made it. I'm right there. There's some things going on, but you know, I can deal with this. Next day, it's like, mom has cancer. Just, bam, done. Mom's sick. It's time to go back. Time to be there with the family. Everyone's getting sick. Everybody's dying. Is that time to potentially make it as a football player worth not having that time with your family while they're still there? So my brother and I both decided to move home at that point. I stopped taking, you know, I let my agent know, stopped taking phone calls from teams, transitioned more to coaching and powerlifting, and kind of came home and just got after it. And when I came home, people were like, yeah, you know what, we know you were training down in Los Angeles and it was a great job for you, but you're not gonna be able to do it here. And again, somebody else is telling me what I can and can't do. And I'm sitting there like, what do you mean I can't do this? Like, I was just training Sharif O'Neal, Shaq's kid. I was just training all these big time guys. You know, just in my group alone, I was training Harrison Ford's grandson. I was training the #1 linebacker, edge rusher in the nation. I had 2 guys go to UCLA out of my group. I had another guy go to Fordham. All my guys that I was training were just elite caliber human beings, and the guys who weren't going to college to play, they were already stepping up to the next level. They were going to play professional rugby. They were stepping into high-level powerlifting, whatever it may be. And I was absolutely just kicking the shit out of it with these guys. And then you're just gonna say like, nope, your career is done. You're not gonna be able to do it here, sorry. So I found that out and just made the decision like, all right, cool. I'm gonna start working for my dad. I'll start training out of the love for it instead of out of the necessity for it. And you know, 1 client turned into 3 clients turned into 9, 10, 11, 12. And before I knew it, you know, this thing that everyone said like, not a chance, you'll never do it. It was right there and it was rolling. And that's when Beast Athletes in Montana really started to pick up, and we started to change a lot of people's lives with it. It was really cool having taken a company that I started in Los Angeles, training those type of guys, and then got told it was done. And then to build it to what it's built now here in Montana and, you know, internationally even. It's been amazing. It's been an amazing ride just to kind of see what can happen when we get after it and commit to something. And that's been our goal this entire time, is if somebody tells you can't do it, like, yeah, that's just what we do here. We can get after it, we can go and grow that and commit to that and make it better than we ever thought possible. So this whole time, you know, going through all these trials, tribulations, started growing as a power lifter. Every time something happened, it was just another opportunity to you know, double down, you know, buckle into what we were doing and take that next step and take that next step and that next step, and, you know, started getting more people around me, better support system with it. And then, you know, so when things did happen, instead of just crumbling, it was something where we were able to band together, remain strong, and take another big step forward. And then, you know, just take care of each other constantly. And that's the beauty about what we've built. Like, this wouldn't have been able to happen on my own. This is, you know, I'm sitting here with the opportunity to go lift. I've been ranked as high as number 13 in the world. And that wouldn't be possible without the guys that, you know, have bought into this with me and kept me accountable, and that I've been able to keep accountable. Now I'm sitting here in position to go back in and break top 10, top 5 in the world. And that's because of the guys that I've brought along, that have bought into this and brought me along. So when we're sitting here trying to get our minds right and trying to go back on the platform and put a 1,900, 2,000 pound total together and break that elite, you know, that elite status as a lifter. And I'm not talking elite, internationally elite, just you're one of the best, period, hands down. That's something you can't just go do on your own. So when we have the opportunity to have this group of human beings together to keep each other accountable, it's, you know, that's where this family comes from. And that's why Beast Athletes is what it is, and that's why it's been so successful here amongst this community, and that's why we've created Beast Athletes University. It's a family, and if I can help these people here, we've been able to help people now spreading out across the states, people in different countries and things like that, and just the reach that we've had with it has just been unbelievable. So that's kind of the biggest picture of what Beast Athletes and Beast Athletes University is. It's the outreach, it's the family setting, it's the, I don't care if you have cerebral palsy. I don't care if you've had heart attacks, if you have cancer, if you've had cancer, whatever it may be. There's nothing that you have going on that we can't all band together and work through. And that's made it really, really valuable. So now we have world record holders with cerebral palsy. Now we have guys who've had multiple heart attacks who are setting state and national and getting close to world records. People who have had the cancer thing, same thing. And it's everybody that's bought into what we're doing. They're just plugging away at it. And it's been amazing. So that's what we want. That's what we want to continue to foster and, continue to reach out to those people that were told, like, no, you can't do this. Of course you can't do that. No, you will never be able to do this. Like, yes, you can. Become a part of a family. Become a part of a group of people that's going to push you, whether it be in person, online, there in your hometown, in your home gym, or somebody who you got to get on the phone with every day. That opportunity is always going to be there. It's always going to grow within this, and that's why we want so much just to reach out and get as many people to be a part of this family as we can.